Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Read TFOS, where I take old stories I've narrated and update them to modern audio standards. I've had several people complaining that they're not seeing all the videos or that they're only seeing the Read TFOS. But I am releasing 3 videos a day currently, 2 on the main channel, which is 1 new one and 1 Read TFOS, and 1 series on the series channel. If you check the description down below, there's all the channels listed there. I'd be forever grateful if you head over to all the channels, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, because there seems to be a very big problem with notifications and my channel at the moment. It would be very much appreciated. Anyways, on to the story. The Ultimate Gift, written by HaxMiner. It was a commonly held belief that sapient life, well, it could exist elsewhere in the universe. They practically didn't exist. The universe was so huge, there was no way to really go out and find the other sapiens in a reasonable amount of time. Now, of course, this didn't stop the legends of alien abductions and crazy conspiracy theories about how aliens were watching our every move and had been since the dawn of time. If they really did exist and knew where we were, why wouldn't they contact us? Well, we finally found out. Instead of searching for aliens, we spent our time trying to figure out how to terraform our moon into a second planet of sorts. We'd need to establish a moon base before all else as a foundation for everything else. I was part of the survey team to investigate potential spots for a base. And of course, since everything I've said has heretofore been in the past tense about aliens, you can imagine what we found. I was surveying the 12th sector of the moon when I came to a very large and unusual rock formation called the Font of Ilskara. It looks like a massive fountain was petrified in the rock, and the name comes from an old mythological fountain that granted infinite wisdom if you survived drinking the water. As I drilled to take a soil sample from the base of the formation, my harvester hit something impossibly hard about 12 feet down. Following standard protocol, I stopped drilling and contacted the ground and the rest of the survey team. Several months later, we had excavated a relatively small underground complex on the moon, and being the discoverer, I was allowed to accompany the archaeologists and the veritable army of military personnel to investigate the structure. The thing that had stupefied us was how utterly ancient yet futuristic this complex was. As far as we were aware, our moon was never habitable at any time in the past, and the vast amount of life support systems found in the building seemed to confirm that theory. Close to where I had made my initial discovery, we discovered a hidden entrance within the Font of Ilskara, and that's what we used to enter the ruins. After the small army ensured no traps or other security measures, or even extraterrestrials were within the structures, the archaeological team was allowed access. I still vividly remember entering the door and having my life changed forever. We entered a medium-sized chamber with large black panels covering one wall, with a large device that we figured was a control panel. Upon inspection of the control panel, we noticed it was covered with individual buttons, each inscribed with individual letters, none of which we could divine any meaning. Cautiously, I pressed one of the keys on the panel, and the panels flared to life on the walls. A large picture appeared on the screens showing a black box embedded in the wall, along with a video showing an alien pressing its extremity into the box, and showing more instructions to follow after pressing the box. Taking the lead, I located the bizarre machine on the opposite wall of the room. Its color is almost indescribable. Jet black, but it looked almost like it wasn't entirely solid. It appeared to flow and pulse from deep within, which was unsettling to say the least. After touching a weird black material, I was frozen in place, unable to move. I felt something within the machine physically connect with my arm and lock me in place. It only took a second or two, but suddenly the world was spinning as the machine disconnected and left me feeling extremely dizzy for a few moments. After stumbling away and a few cries of concern from the archaeologists, I noticed the screens had changed and were waiting for an input from the now glowing green button on the keyboard. Upon pressing the button, a video began playing. "Hello, I am Dr. Ibrahim Al-Wazir, final head of Project Prometheus. We hope this video reaches its intended recipient, but if not, it's a little consequence. This video's goal is to explain this facility, what this project is, and to finally, hopefully, connect our two species together. Fire has always been vital to humanity. It was a massive anthropological debate as to what size the role of fire played in our evolution, but nevertheless, it changed us as a species. Our founders sought to elucidate the actual importance of fire to humanity's evolution, and as such, Project Prometheus was born. The goal of Project Prometheus was to see the role fire plays in inducing sapience and higher intelligence in a species. This facility you are standing in is known as the Goddard Research Outpost. Its purpose was to record the results of the Project Prometheus and to establish a place where communications between our species could take off from once the project concluded. This facility is equipped with... The video continued for several more minutes, with the doctor describing the machine that I interacted with as a universal interface and one of his species' greatest technological achievements. Despite being unable to understand the alien spoken language, there were subtitles on the screen in our own language, somehow, allowing us to follow along. Though we had to replay the video a few times to fully understand the meaning due to the gaps in translation. These aliens, these humans as they called themselves, made us who we are today. In the video, the doctor also told us of a wormhole generator that would allow us to travel to humanity's homeworld. After another month and a half of preparation, a small team of 5, with myself included, activated a portal within the basement of the facility. After alighting into the portal, we found a planet lush with wildlife and greenery, but no humans to be found. 7 years passed of intensive exploration of the immense cities that lay in disrepair from what appeared to be millennia of disuse. It was a haunting and chilling experience to walk amongst the massive buildings and parks and roadways, with no noise except the scuffle of our boots against the hard pavement and the labored breath of your squad mates as they walked in the brutal sunlight. None of the science fiction or horror stories I had read all my life could have prepared me for the exploration of the dead civilization on the planet Earth, nor were any as terrifying. In the middle of the 8th year of exploration, we decided to begin investigating the vast amounts of technology and knowledge the humans had amassed. Despite being a botanist and geologist by study and profession, I became engrossed in human philosophy and mythology. We entered the Golden Age unlike any seen before in our species' history. Humanity had developed technology to infuse massive amounts of information into a biological brain, along with ways to expand mental processing far beyond any natural limits. Humanity had progressed beyond even the imagination of our greatest science fiction authors. But even they weren't invulnerable. 12,000 years ago, a mysterious virus began infecting the population at a massive rate. The virus killed within several hours of infection, making study almost impossible. The vectors of transmission seemed to be anything. The air, the treated water, any tree, handrail, insect, dog, cat, person, your clothing, everything. It was only a few months before the virus spread to the human colonies through the wormhole generators and wiped out humanity everywhere. The virus only seemed capable of killing humanity with impunity. Most everything else was able to shrug off the infection, though several other species did see massive death, but not extinction from the virus. With everything we've gained from humanity, it seemed cruel for them to have disappeared before we could have had a chance to express our gratitude. We researched for a way to repay humanity for what they did for us, and as it turns out, there was a way. 2 years ago today marks the completion of Project 5th Day. 47 years and millions of failed experiments, we've found a way to reach into the void and reclaim what was once lost. While they may only be a shadow of what once was, we will rebuild together. Looking at the video feed of the chamber, I watched as scientists pressed several commands on the control panel. Wires retracted from the man's head, tubes out of his throat and lungs, and an IV in his arm injected one last fluid before also withdrawing. Several tense seconds passed before his eyes slowly opened and he sat up. The researchers then asked the man in a clear voice, "Oh, my name is Deathworlder. What is your name?" The man shakily got to his feet, blinked his eyes a few times, and responded in a gravelly voice, "I am Adam. End of story. I would just like to thank the T5 supporters: Bushmaster117, Caspar Arnholtz, Draxzoon WRE, Elijah Silvercross, Gray, John Carrington, and Severin Cerberus. Thank you very much.